Hey everybody, welcome to another Chef Knives to Go quick look product review. I'm Steve Gamache, and what we have this time is the Tojiro bread knife, or bread slicer as the package says, 240 millimeter. So this knife is made out of a single piece of steel. It's monosteel construction. There's no cladding or layers, so just one piece of steel ground and shaped and with an edge put on it. It's just a generic stainless steel. Its heat treat is, I would say, under 60, probably could be 57, 58, maybe 59. It's a guess on my part. So decent stainless steel, nothing fancy, keeps the price down. The weight and dimensions should be pretty similar from knife to knife, but this one's 107 grams, 3.8 ounces. Edge length is right about 242 millimeters or 9.5 inches, and that's from the end here where it actually has a ground edge to the last scallop here in the back. The overall length, about 14.8 inches or 375 millimeters. This blade is fairly thin, and it's got a bit of flex to it, which is a little different than some bread knives, but this one is about 1.8 millimeters thick coming out of the handle at the spine and about 1.4 about halfway down. It pretty much keeps about 1.4-ish all the way down to the end. And the blade height is about 24 millimeters all the way across the blade. Maybe it loses actually a little bit as you go down towards the end, but not a whole lot. But you can see it's got a fair amount of flex to it. There are some bread knives that are much more stiff than this one. Not necessarily a good or bad thing, it's just different. So it might depend on what you're going to do with it or what you're looking for. The handle is actually very comfortable and it looks nice. It's finished quite well. You've got stainless steel rivets. Everything's nice and flush and smooth. The handle's made out of a laminated wood product. And again, it's got a nice feel to it. The blade actually has a very well done finish on it. Here's our beauty shot. You've got screened in kanji and some symbols and made in Japan on one side, and the other side is plain. But take a look at the finish. It's a horizontal or brushed finished, and one thing that's nice about that is as you clean the blade and wipe it down, you tend to clean it, wipe it, and dry it this way. So scratches that you might develop on the finish go with the grain and with the finish direction, so that helps hide those, which is pretty cool. And it just gives it a more upscale appearance, which is really cool considering the price of this thing. They've got a nice edge on this, 6, maybe 7 out of 10 on my scale. It's nicely crafted. It's very sharp out of the box. They have fairly large scallops on there, so you can sharpen this on the corner of a stone and bring it back and forth. There's different techniques, and Ken Schwartz has some videos out, or at least one video out where he does that with a knife with similar edge type on it. This is basically a single bevel type edge, so you can see it's ground on the right side of the blade. The left side of the blade is flat. So if you're a lefty like me, you will notice a little bit of steering depending on the product that you're doing. Probably not through bread, but if you were doing melons or things like that, you might notice a little bit of steering on it. But typical of this type of knife and the kind of edge on it. The price on these is awesome. It does have a partial tang on it, which extends here, and that doesn't go all the way through the handle. That it's comes back to about there, and then probably is short of the actual bottom of the handle. That makes the knife lighter, and it brings the balance point to about right there. So just a really cool knife. There's lots of uses for bread knives besides bread. You can do cakes, muffins, quite a few different things you can cut with these besides just bread. So if the price is so great on these that if you're kind of looking at a bread knife but don't use it I'm not going to use it too often, I want to spend a lot of money on a bread knife for occasional use, this might be just the ticket for you if you have not ventured into that. But it's nice to have these on hand if you need it for something. So it just works. And great for tomatoes too. Very, very sharp. So anyway, excellent price on a well-made product with a nice. It looks a whole lot more expensive than it is, guys. And gals, folks. I'll get generic there. So, and again, it has a nice, really upscale appearance more than you would think given the price. So fantastic deal from Chef Knives to Go. This is the Tojiro bread knife or bread slicer 240 millimeter knife.